The Day Before was released on December 7th, 2023. After years of promotional hype surrounding its massive scale of the world, this was marketed by the company fntastic Games as an open-world survival MMO in 2021, with breathtaking visuals, realistic physics, and set pieces. This would have features like proximity chat, a dynamic weather system, and hidden bases to be discovered, with plenty of great entertainment to enjoy among other features. This game was supposed to be the next massive step in open-world survival games, with a twist that it was an MMO. But red flags quickly gathered, and the world was collectively questioning the reality of this project. What would transpire from 2021 all the way until the closure of fntastic Games in 2023, 4 whole days after the launch of the game, will go down in history as gaming's largest rug pull. A scheme so large that Sam Bankman-Fried would be smiling. But as this story kept winding, so too did the layers of incompetence peel back. The Day Before, the game that scammed the entire world. The Day Before was an ambitious feat for a small studio founded on Kickstarter games, like the Wild 8s and the Radiant one. Hey, these games have pretty good reviews and are the right amount of small scale that a Kickstarter game might realistically achieve. fntastic Games was created by the two brothers Edward and Asen Godisev. I hope I said that right. The Wild 8s was named after the 8 developers, including the two brothers whose first game earned $1 million 1 month after release. That's a big chunk of change to make something even bigger. So the two brothers decided on the studio name fntastic Games. But just because they decided on the name doesn't mean that they ever trademarked it, being the first sign of incompetence when dealing with their game development process. Eventually, the indie studio created a game that could fill a hole in what gamers desired. Everyone liked Prop Hunt, a popular game mode made inside Valve's Garry's mod, and another genre was quickly taking over sales, the survival multiplayer horror game Dead by Daylight. So fntastic Games decided to combine the two and made Propnight. Was released on November 30th of 2021. According to Game Sensor's forecast, during the first month of its release on Steam, Propnight sales amounted to almost $3 million, and the number of copies sold at the same time was almost 200,000. The game was met with mixed reviews, with some calling it a simple clone. This is a game with two identities, and for the most part, it worked pretty well. The game was complimented for its physics-based gameplay, good communication and voice comms, a wheel of comms for that matter, and taking a twist on 2 formats to blend them well. At first it seemed like people really liked this game, but more signs of what was to come with fntastic Games were appearing. For starters, we would find out later that Propnight was never trademarked until it came time for legal troubles with The Day Before. Another issue, it was pretty much abandoned in later updates, as reviews flooding in about it now have stated that the game doesn't even launch properly anymore, and that it just loads forever. To combat this, fntastic Games decided it best to bot a ton of reviews so their game still had mostly positive reviews. This isn't an entirely uncommon strategy in the Steam marketplace, as review bombing happens because of one small update with unpopular changes. And it's why some of the worst rated games of all time on Steam sit that way, typically due to business or sandbox updates. But in this case, it was a sign of future cover-ups fntastic Games would try to get away with. They even deleted trailers after removing content from the game, abandoning Propnight to make waves for This is not a real game. This is the real game. That's right. For a project as large as this one, I'm incredibly lucky that Royal Match was willing to support this video. Look guys, The Day Before may have been fake, but I promise you, Royal Match is very real. Royal Match is a free-to-play match 3 puzzle game. This game, unlike the other one we know, has progression as the player helps the king build and renovate his castle into a fun, vibrant, and colorful one. With 7,000 plus levels, tremendous rewards, and various events and unique levels, Royal Match is a perfect trip to be on the throne. Other than watching this video. There are no ads, so you can enjoy the game without interruptions to relax and unwind. You can also join a team and get help from your teammates. Both as a team and individually, you can compete for local and global championships. Download Royal Match for much less than another game tried to charge us, aka download it for free with my link in the description. Now back to the video. This is not a real game. This is the real game. The Day Before was announced on January 29th, 2021 via fntastic Games' YouTube channel, which has since deleted all videos, and IGN is the only one who have kept their trailers up. I want to paint the picture as realistically as possible because although many were fooled by this trailer, many others doubted this being real since day one. But you might ask yourself why gamers doubted this, and what were the holes that kept this game's campaign staying in the red. If you've played games long enough, you know the E3 and marketing look versus the final product, and The Day Before looked eerily similar to other games, namely Ubisoft's Tom Clancy's The Division, Naughty Dog's Last of Us. Even the cover uses the same style and font. When asked about the game's development by 100yakusha.russia, a Russian outlet, the brothers said, quote, "It was in active development for 2 years, and initially it was supposed to look simpler, but our energy and fierce passion led to a completely new level of graphics." The brothers aren't wrong here. The game did look different, but they are still both lying about the amount of work placed into the game. First of all, in a deleted YouTube video describing the life of a fntastic Games studio worker, Dana from fntastic Games showed side-by-side comparisons of the updated version next to the original, more cartoony version with smaller world scale and destructible environments. On the surface, this looks calm and ready to drop bombs, but they kept on forgetting that the map was a JPEG. Yeah, this thing doesn't really move now, does it? I may have a passion for games, but I don't know how to create them myself. So I ask you, I ask the world, was this malicious? You can't know all of the answers, but hopefully some evidence, and a lot of evidence, will piece together your own thoughts. There's one important part of this video that Dana speaks on.
But in 2020 came a moment when we decided to overcome ourselves.
This is a corporate, maybe AI-generated way to say that they found an investor for their game. This company was named Mytona Games, who would officially sign documents to publish Propnight and soon to be The Day Before. So it lines up that 2020 would be the year that they were closing the deal behind the scenes, and 2021 the papers got official. This is the part of the story I believe gets misrepresented. See, a lot of people believe Mytona to be this evil publisher in the know on everything fntastic was doing, when realistically they were just the one company that bit on fntastic, more than likely expanding their reach past just mobile games they were known for. It also helps knowing that they might have been the one company to trust fntastic since they were both from Yakutsk, Russia, the coldest city on Earth, with temperatures reaching -60 Celsius and -76 Fahrenheit. fntastic could have very well played on the trust of Mytona Games to take their money and keep asking for more, as when they were in talks, I'm sure they asked for more funding to make the game even larger. As the game did become larger, the skepticism was boiling. Thanks to these videos that paint the comparisons of now deleted trailers, you can see the blatant plagiarism and a real knack for offering buzzwords.
No. What was that?
The Day Before offers a uniquely reimagined journey into post-apocalyptic MMO open-world survival.
Rockstar have tried to reimagine the open-world game in a number of ways.
The open world of The Day Before is beautiful and richly detailed.
The game world is beautiful, massive, and diverse.
The weapons, which can be modified, are made with maximum realism to ensure that combat remains deep and engaging at all times.
Make combat deep and engaging at all times.
Each weapon boasts unique characteristics, as well as realistic reload and recoil mechanics.
Each weapon has unique characteristics, with realistic reload and recoil.
Welcome to the next generation of post-apocalyptic MMO open-world survival games like never before.
Welcome to the next generation of open-world adventure.
Immerse yourself in the day before.
Immerse yourself in Cyberpunk 2077.
You might think that last one was AI generated, and that's because it was, since I tested it myself on ChatGPT and it gave me eerily similar results. So at this point in the timeline of events, the game is listed on Steam for wishlisting, after Mytona officially became publisher for Propnight and the day before, but just after fntastic Games officially even filed to be a company in 2021. 2022 rolls around, and all of a sudden, the game is getting delayed a bunch for reasons that don't seem suspicious at all. But hey, here's more trailers to prove this is real, guys. So we jump to 2023, and all of a sudden, fntastic Games claims that Steam removed their game from the early access page. fntastic claimed that the name was being claimed by the inventor of the calendar app. I couldn't find anything about Mike Samuel, the apparent creator of the Google Calendar, but if anyone can find any information about Apple's calendar or Mike commenting on this, please let me know and either leave a comment or reach out to me. They claim that the creator of the app wanted to get ahead of them on trademarking the name the day before. fntastic didn't trademark the name the day before or Propnight until 2022. The brothers Edward and Asen were getting sloppy. I believe the reason they claimed it was removed by Steam was to rally people to their cause, and most importantly, make sure Mytona Games didn't raise more questions on investing. If we are to believe that the creator of the calendar app was trying to fight for the name, then he probably saw that the name wasn't taken and wanted some money for something he was working on. Or there's a major hole in your game that attracted millions of eyes and was a quick cash grab to take the name, taking advantage of the brothers' judgment. This can be supported by the brothers saying, quote, "Power is in the truth," on a tweet. That's kind of ironic because Steam never removed the game. fntastic Games is the one who removed the game. The story was equally sloppy as well, as we head down the chain of command at fntastic. As you can see, one of the volunteers of fntastic Games, yes, I said volunteers, we'll get to that part of the story in a bit, said a different reason. Quote, "The day before Steam issue, we are currently experiencing a minor technical difficulty with our game's visibility on the Steam store page. This is a known bug that has affected multiple titles in the past. Please note that Steam regularly conducts maintenance on Tuesdays, and this issue will likely be resolved during that time. We kindly ask that you refrain from sending negative messages or joining in with complaints of others. Rest assured that our game will be visible on the Steam store again once the maintenance is complete. Patience is key." Best part of all is they tried to post a video under the rallying tweet. It was copyright claimed from a third party, because of course it was, because the trailers are full of plagiarism. Other than deleted, a lot of these videos from fntastic have been claimed by third parties, and unfortunately, not even Internet Archives could assist with all of them. Eventually, they did win on the trademark issue, but it was because they probably came to a private deal with the calendar app creator, or this whole thing was a way to buy more time and investment from Mytona. With how the rest has gone so far, I'll let you decide. But fntastic would then go on to claim that the game wouldn't come out until November 10th of 2023. And that didn't happen either. December 7th was the release date, but before the release, fntastic laid out an entire breakdown addressing all the haters. You might have seen this tweet, but it talks about, "Please don't accuse us of scamming. That's not true. We didn't take a penny from anyone. That's a great sign, guys. Please don't accuse us of asset flipping. That's also not true. Our team worked day and night for 5 years to make our dream a reality. Please don't underestimate our work. It wasn't easy. We are like you. We worked hard and we're incredibly happy that our game we will finally see the light of day for everyone to explore." With that being said, the game was released. December 7th arrived, and so too did the popcorn from every person tuning into this game. Where to begin? I wanted to make a separate video on every single bug that I alone experienced in my 5 hours on the game, but seeing as the game is no longer around and fntastic have announced the closure of their studio, so I will speedrun laying them all out here. Falling through the map, dying behind cover, car slides, lighting black lines, getting out of your car, different race from zombies. There are no zombies. The lake is completely shallow, the almost crashing every time you killing teammates. Kill teammates in the hot area for a long time. The server. Big skibbity head. Will I elaborate further on these? Do you really want me to? The game sucked, and it's exactly what everyone thought it would be. It took me 15 minutes between seeing a single zombie to see another one. But this is believable when you consider that it is very easy to fake a trailer when you make dev environments in a small space, with a goal to make it seem polished. Again, was this malicious? It's a question that I hope to answer by the end of this video. But for now, you can see at least where trailers get sloppy, and I can prove a little more leeway for this theory. For starters, I want to say there is no way this game took 5 years. It might have taken 5 years to make all the small development environments to promote a game to potentially keep Mytona happy, but the final product, no way. Aside from the JPEG map we pointed out earlier, and the whole list of removed features that Redditors were able to piece together, not in the final game, that I will play on screen while we continue, you can see the ways they hid entering new environments. For starters, in the reveal trailer, remember that pretty looking game? Well, you can see what could be a bridge, but it's blended into the city, and there are lights going to nowhere. This can also be said for weird creative cutting when opening inventories to disguise new environments. You can also see this when fading away, exiting the play space of the trailers. Again, even in the original vision of this game, these were not fully realized environments. That takes so much time and effort of testing. And since fntastic decided to scrap the first idea in pursuit of more funding, it's clear that the signs of abandonment and holes in their plan were there. But again, was this malicious? Or was faking a trailer learning from others in the space? I want to point back to the original Division, which was an example of faking a complete environment. Same with Watch Dogs and its original vision. So were fntastic learning from the best? Well, the difference is that Ubisoft at least made functional games, and at least I can speak on the Division having real gameplay trailers from then on. It wasn't the game we thought we were seeing, but it was still a damn good one. This, on the other hand, was what some would call an asset flip. I'm going to use the Wikipedia definition of an asset flip. Quote, an asset flip is a type of shovelware or software bundle in which a video game developer purchases pre-made assets and uses them to create numerous permutations of generic games to sell at low prices. Such games tend to be viewed by gamers as uncreative and as diverting attention from less popular high-quality titles. In this case, the basic default packs from Unreal with little to no custom code. Thanks to some pretty unhappy customers and gamers who were skeptical, there's an entire thread through Reddit that goes through every asset bundle bought by fntastic, and with bare minimum to no changes at all. Asset packs are very normal to use in games, but most games change them to be within their own identity. If you think about it, this isn't an unheard of practice, and it's why we're getting more games than ever. It might also be why a lot of people say that a lot of games look or feel the same. If there's not a lot of changes to the look, it will be bland. fntastic, who denied the game being an asset flip, had clearly made this real game in a very short amount of time, and it's incredibly obvious. As a result of all of this, The Day Before became a top 10 most negative reviewed game on Steam of all time, only beaten out by review bombs for much larger games. Keep in mind that this game was the most wishlisted game on Steam in 2023, and even IGN gave this game a 1 out of 10, after posting trailers and gameplay footage all year long. The Discord was in shambles, and the subreddit's logo avatar was the Day Before cover with clown makeup on and a red nose. Up until now, you might think that this was a giant fail of a launch, but it's early access, and that means they will update it. Those strawman arguments were fittingly very thin, as it was killed in just a few days. The funniest part is that fntastic and Mytona had a deal with the server provider, so if you owned a copy, it was still possible, barely, to play, even if you couldn't buy it on Steam. The news of the game being removed was announced in the Discord before it was public, but this is where the story peels more layers back and gives more evidence to a side which paints all of this as malicious intent, a Ponzi scheme towards the investors, while using every player as collateral. To quote one of the volunteers for fntastic in the day before, who was a moderator in the Discord, quote, "A last goodbye and thank you from myself and the rest of the moderation team and volunteers. We appreciate all the fun we've had over the time we spent here. We had our community ups and downs. The kind words today were appreciated from the mods. fntastic fumbled and tried to use us as a scapegoat. One day, someone will make the game we all desire. For those who still need a refund, do check out the Reddit." Who is this us that Levitate is referring to? Matter of fact, who were those volunteers we spoke of? You've seen the stories of amazing people who have volunteered with animal shelters, soup kitchens, firefighting, and more. fntastic saw this too, and decided to make the very smart decision that a job that is extremely technical, requiring many years of experience to be done correctly through various channels of operation and years of working within a system of, oh, come on, you know how this went. They just brought in anyone who knew how to program and gave them a Fiverr level deal to program the game. This is the manifesto to become a volunteer. This one even seems a bit cultish. We discover harmony in the dance of endless motion. The seemingly impossible only serves to ignite our creativity. Each action is imbued with a spirit of willingness. Every endeavor is infused with the essence of joy. Willingness is heaven. Unwillingness is hell. Does this not sound like a cult to you? We can't say for sure, but with all of the evidence so far lined up, we can make the case that fntastic was hiring any level of programmer to be a volunteer. When I asked a volunteer for questioning on this, he said that he was NDA'd, but he did say that since he didn't have programming experience, that they made him a moderator for the Discord. Can you see how a volunteer program for anyone and everyone might be a bad idea yet? No? Okay, then fine, we will talk about it. This is a wild and often unspoken side of the day before story, where lack of communication and off-the-rails power dynamics can take over. In this case, the Discord volunteer Wolf was just as excited as a lot of people were for what the game was, what could have been. Then after a massive lack of communication, Wolf started to ask some questions about, well, the game he was excited for. This raised a red flag to someone named Quentin Rose from fntastic. They said he was being passive aggressive before. Quote, "But again, like said above, actions have been taken at least for now. The drama and all the stuff that will come with it need to calm down, because I now have some pro-Wolf that will come into my DMs to harass me or threaten me. For now, he is permabanned. It can change depending on the situation, but not right now, that's for sure." Then, after Wolf's ban, others were not exactly happy for losing him. One of the game's largest supporters, who volunteered for free to be a part of this, said that there better be some good evidence for this ban. "I know I haven't been on in a while, but people didn't get banned for being passive-aggressive behavior. They normally got warnings. So for the sake of community, I hope this is valid." It's safe to say tension was sparking, and there was no clear grasp on what was going on. So I asked Wolf in Discord messages for his side of the story, as I'm sure many others were as well. He linked me to a Reddit post he made answering majority of the questions as to what the Discord prison experiment was all about. In his words, quote,
"The reason for my removal is the following. You've been inactive, unresponsive, and exhibiting non-professional behavior."
This is a lie. A straw man to remove Wolf for asking a simple question. He says,
"First of all, I was never inactive and unresponsive. Of course, I had my real life, a job, households, and everything, so I couldn't be there 24/7 if you know what I mean. The reason for me saying that statement is because of all the frustration, delays, and vague communication from their side, and stuff that I mentioned above."
He is being gaslit into apologizing where he should not have to be.
Now, there is a bit more information regarding this, but I do not think that is valuable anymore. I saw it coming, but my hope remained. To be completely honest, I feel empty and strange. 2 years of daily work for free with loads of passion and dedication got thrown away basically, and I always supported them. Turns out, everything was a lie, and all I did was for nothing.
Volunteers with no paid time, being manipulated to apologize when they had no wrongdoing by other volunteers, and a probable part-time worker of fntastic who had been given the badge to shame them. What these two brothers had built was a lazy power trip, and it was now hurting other people who just wanted to help. At this point, I have been down too many rabbit holes, and for a game that I wasn't really interested in. This was a lot of fun for me to read, but when people get hurt by it, there's a lot less to be enjoying. And unfortunately, it doesn't end there. Sure, the game was removed and everyone got a refund, but I can't help but feeling at the time of this that the brothers got away with everything, despite most people believing this was a scam. Thanks to Aloysius Lowe's report, we have more reasoning for the brothers' plan of Singapore as an office, and that is, there was no office. According to Lowe, the office was empty and used as a means of virtual location, and used as a co-opting workspace with nobody named fntastic to be found. What Lowe was able to uncover was that these offices were used virtually, but what I think is that fntastic found a tax loophole and avoided sanctions by claiming these spaces as an office. The evidence can be found in Lowe's report, documenting that fntastic made almost $1 million in profit and gave $200,000 to the brothers alone, with travel taking over $300,000. This could be a loophole I'm unaware of, or these two rug pullers are even stupider about managing their scam money. The tweet about the company going under and running out of funding is a complete lie. Lowe was able to track how much the sales before the big refund accumulated, and with all that in mind, Mytona, or fntastic, we're looking at over $3 million of revenue. But I wonder how the loan of over $400,000 to fntastic via Mytona went. What happens now with the major refund? Will this be enough to satisfy the brothers' travel expenses? Will they see court? And will that other game Day World ever exist? Well, at this point, I don't really want to present fntastic's behavior as anything but malicious. They lied to their investors to keep sinking money into the brothers' wallets and apparently travels. They lied to the world about a game that they probably did not expect to get this popular. They tried to scrub evidence not knowing how the internet works. The plan was filled with incompetence and leverage, lies, and Discord prison experiments from volunteers. This will go down as gaming's first major rug pull, at least that I know of, but I'm scared this won't be the last. This is the part of the video where I'm supposed to say the world got justice, but truthfully, for now, these brothers and whoever else at fntastic Games leadership got paid big for scamming their publisher and the customers who bought in, the people who believed in this, and that's not right. This story will begin and end in Russia for fntastic Games, from the young up-and-coming developers to an example of horror in the gaming industry. I want to use this last part of the video to talk about the article from the people who worked at fntastic and their story. Keep in mind, these are not leadership. They did not intend to scam. These are developers who just wanted a job in the industry, and they didn't take home all of that money. From Maxim Dragon of IXBT, a Russian article speaking on fntastic, the dev said that the problems were early signs. Quote, "The brothers considered themselves almost Hideo Kojima. They became so self-important that 6 months after release, they forced the staff to rework the game's visual style from scratch. This is backed by an image showing the weird change in visual style. Quote, from a fun cartoon horror, it was turned into another dark Dead by Daylight. The audience did not accept the change, gave negative reviews, and abandoned the game. Online dropped from 1,500 to hundreds of players online." End quote. Mytona was originally interested in Propnight as a mobile option, hence why they ever got involved and unfortunately scammed too. This is where the story adds up even more, as developers were apparently going to use Zoom or Microsoft Teams, but the brothers decided during COVID to randomly opt their staff to use an app called Continent Virtual Office, which was shut down right after launch, like their stupid fake game. Developers worked to make 500 gigs of source code for it to not be used at all, because the brothers all of a sudden wanted to make the game to be an MMO. This, the day before, was going to be single player originally. Quote, as the art department workers told us, 2 months before the game's release, they received the task of repainting the city so that it looked like Marvel's Spider-Man 2. They said that in the day before, the city looks too depressing. But man, Spider-Man 2? That's it. I think you should read the article for yourself. But if you had any more questions about the character of the brothers, well, this should speak for itself. Quote, there was no point in arguing with the brothers. Impudent employees were immediately fired. Sometimes they acted even more interestingly. This is a truly sadistic way of bullying. The brothers recruited employees from deep provinces or small regional cities. It's easy to manipulate people. You promise a good, by the standards of the Outback, salary, a AAA project in your portfolio, and then you turn a person's life into hell. Yikes. Now, I am not a lawyer. Even when asking some lawyer friends, they were not in the right practice to give me concrete answers here. But from Googling Singapore laws, the brothers could get in major trouble if they had done business in Singapore, or if it was proven in court. I will not make a bold statement on something I know nothing about, but if anybody does, please leave a comment or reach out to me via Twitter, Instagram, Discord, or email. Regardless, they scam the entire world. I am a big believer in karma at the very least, and karma will have it out for them. I hope they will become blacklisted from every job in the industry. And ultimately, I think this is a great example of it has to get worse before it can get better for gamers. I really hope before you think about buying a game like the day before, you do some research and consider what you're about to get into. The day after is here, and it's a new year for better options. So many great games came out in 2023, but only one was so bad it will remain gaming's first major rug pull. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing and supporting today's sponsor. I am also going to be posting more often on Patreon, so if that sounds like something you'd want to support, then please consider becoming a patron underneath this video. Thanks, and have a wonderful day.